I'm going to turn my attention now, if I may, Aaron, to a guy named Francois Legault. Mr. Legault, and it's so funny because I don't do this very often, but it's a crazy day. Regular listeners will know that I have mentioned that the TVA news organization are kind of like, they like to wave pom-poms for Francois Legault on the cap. He's had a very interesting day today on his website, if only because on headlines alone, they created a rather interesting, if rather, how can I put it, disquieting profile of the Premier of Quebec. We start with, mega projects. Quebecers have to change their attitude, Legault says. He's sounding kind of cranky because people are protesting the Northvolt battery project, and he doesn't like that. Now, for Valerie Plante, she's not doing enough to defend French, which is like he's very angry, and they like to use the word laments or is angry or deplores. Speaking in English, Legault deplores that young people find this cool. Okay, and you get the impression that the next headline is he's going to be telling kids to get off his lawn. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Here's the money headline, Aaron, is now at the top of the TVA news page. It's going to be, I'm sure, at the top of our news lineup very soon. It's going to be a story that is going to be getting a lot of scrutiny later on today, certainly tomorrow on CJAD. And that headline says, couple in mourning invited to fundraising cocktail offered 2 minutes access for $200. The couple in question lost their daughter in a car crash to a drunk driver. And they wanted to form a Quebec chapter of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or an equivalent organization. And they were trying to get a hold of Geneviève Guilbeault, who is the transport minister, and a staffer for their local MNA said, well, for $200, you can both see the minister for like 2 minutes. Now, that in itself should leave you feeling kind of in need of a shower, but it gets better because this news was not leaked to some source or as a result of an access to information request. This information was made public by the couple during a legislative committee hearing today looking at reform to the Quebec Highway Code. They are among those who want to see, and we've discussed this on the show before, and they want to see the drunk driving level reduced to 0.05 from 0.08. Quebec is the only jurisdiction in Canada that maintains the 0.08 as being the level where police can intervene, take your car, take your keys, whatever. Geneviève Guilbeault has her immediate defense was, I'm sorry they got that impression. They could have met with me at any time. And anyway, listen, we've stopped doing fundraisers, so you can't ask me about that anymore. It's not on the table.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I know sometimes every now and then we like to engage in situations where we say, well, what do you think is going to happen? And I like to make my fearless prediction. I'm looking at these headlines today, Aaron. I'm looking at what's happening to the CAQ. I'm looking at what's happening to Francois Legault. And I have to tell you, as a betting man, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that Francois Legault will not be in politics by the end of 2024. That so many things are going wrong so frequently that he is being perceived not just by the opposition, but by a growing number of Quebecers as an out-of-touch, cranky old Quebecer who wants to wind back the clock to, the days of James Bay or even Duplessis. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, with what my party is saying, you're not just an opponent, you are a bad Quebecer. And to see Francois Legault, or even worse, his cabinet minister, I almost used another word, Jean-François Roberge, say it's ridiculous to see, the mayor of Montreal, Valerie Plante, defend a non-Quebecer's right to get an education in English, quite apart from the fact that I wonder if he actually listened to himself saying that out loud. The other thing is, Valerie Plante, a proud daughter of Rouen-Noranda, plus québécoise que ça, tu meurs, and you're suggesting that maybe she is not maybe a full-blooded Quebecer because she doesn't agree with you and your party? Things are imploding so quickly, Aaron, that we are going to really have to have a program to keep up. I think this isn't even a matter of poll results anymore. I think this is a matter of the bottom dropping out of whatever it was that held the CAQ together. And as far as I can tell, all of these mishaps and gaps are accelerating in pace. So honestly, I don't know where we're going to wind up, but things are not looking very bright for the CAQ right now.
So I won't be able to use this clip, I guess, after this Genevieve Guilbeault story, Brian?
Nobody has to pay to talk to me.
Okay, we'll have to scrap that one, I guess.
No, she'll maintain that.
Yeah.
That, they were misinformed. They were, they should have been pressured like that. But anyway, don't talk to me anymore because we don't do that. This is not an issue.
Right.
We don't. That's not the situation. So anyway, listen. You know what? This story is going to have legs, and not just with CJAD listeners. This story is going to have legs with every Quebecer who's a parent, who can imagine what these people had to go through, trying to just make their point, and this is it. Well, you can sue the minister for 2 minutes if you cough up $200. Give me a break.
Talk about when it rains, it pours for this government, huh? Wow.
Oh, when it poured like this, Noah was building himself a boat, Aaron.
Wow. By the way, for those people who didn't hear it, the clip you're referring to, first of all, I want to ask you, Jim, I asked you this yesterday, why you thought Valerie Plante actually took it upon herself to bring up this whole McGill Concordia thing after having commented on this originally. I didn't know what the timeline was or why she felt it necessary to do it again. And then today, to get this from Francois Legault when he said this.
We don't attack Montreal. We protect French. French will always be vulnerable in North America. To see that Mrs. Plante doesn't care about French in Montreal, I don't understand why.
Jim, I know you just talked about this. Why would anyone want to get into that fight?
Well, first of all, Valerie Plante, is the mayor of Montreal. She's also a pretty good politician, whether you like her or not, and she smells blood. And to hear Francois Legault turn around and say, no, I'm not attacking Montreal. I'm protecting French. Wait 1 second, bonhomme, whether you say that in French or in English, okay? What you're saying is the ends justify the means for an argument that is being disproved on a daily basis. That your French language is in decline crisis is completely manufactured. You're hiding behind that, and a growing number of people are realizing this, are seeing this as the political grift that it is. You've got nothing else. You've got no policies. All you've ever been able to do for the past 6 years is point into the distance, say, here's another threat coming, and hope people believe you. The problem is a growing number of people are saying, no, I don't believe you. And you've got the poll numbers to show it, Monsieur Legault.
James MENNIE at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, thank you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Adamant.